to the Chompcast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp. And remember, you can always go to swordchomp.com, where you can access the many places our podcast is available for download. But if you're listening to the show right now, that means you found us. So welcome to the madness that is the Chompcast. You can also find us on Patreon, patreon.com/swordchomp. If you want to support us, look for the VIP tier. More on that later. Our wrists are just sore from shooting sticky white stuff all week long. And no, that's not because we just found Jessica Negri's Instagram page. We've been playing Spider-Man on the PS4. At least me and Josh have. And we are excited to talk about it because that game has truly entangled the gaming world in its web. Now, Spider-Man actually inspired two sets of polls this week. After our listeners expressed their love of Spider-Man villains, we ran the Spider-Man villains poll all week long on the @SwordChomp Instagram, and we have a victor. Also, we discussed the poll results that we run every Tuesday on the Sword Chomp Instagram page for Streets of Rage 4, so we can talk about that. Kingdoms of Amalur was basically bought by THQ, which is pretty exciting. And we have a very heartfelt topic of the show that's, sure to either make you laugh, cry, or maybe neither of those, I suppose. Like a web that wraps around your heart. We discuss video games that remind us of those sad moments or rough times in our life. Perhaps Peter Parker was playing something when old Uncle Ben passed away. Who knows? But I can tell you what I do know. That one of the most jam-packed Chompcast shows of the year starts now. All right, let's get to some intros. Up first, from Texas, the Filipino Johnny Depp. Much like Peter Parker and Spider-Man on a typical Friday night, you can find him dangling upside down, wearing a mask, and unloading his sticky white gunk all over the city. Anthony Fisher joins us. How you doing, Fish?
So you just wrote the one joke, huh?
That's the only joke. Damn it, Josh! Oh.
Yeah. Love painting the city in my semen.
It was paint the city in your semen, huh?
Yep. What's that saying? Paint the city red? Is that a saying?
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a saying. I've heard something like that. Is it like Jet Set Radio where you're rollerblading around, just spraying the town or something like that?
Yeah. I love rollerblading. I mean, it goes hand in hand.
You do,
hand and dick fun. Yeah.
Hand and dick fun. Spraying the city, marking your territory. Yeah, Josh, I'm sorry. It was too easy. What's my one... Actually, that's it. That's the only white sticky gum joke.
I imagine while Fish is running around town blowing and stuff, that Dancing Queen is playing. So it's like a montage of Dancing Queen and him just shooting all over buildings.
It's funny you mentioned that, Shay, because my fiance forced me to watch Mamma Mia, and I'll never get those 2 hours back. Never again. ABBA. I didn't know ABBA was a thing. Apparently ABBA is a thing.
You didn't know ABBA was a thing?
You didn't know ABBA was a thing. Huh.
Yeah, no, I didn't know ABBA was a thing, like a relevant cultural thing, like a band that was so relevant they made 2 fucking musicals after this band. So,
well, they made one, and then a second one sort of happened because of late stage capitalism here recently, and yeah, I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. It wasn't terrible. I saw it for her birthday. But now I know way too much about ABBA. But yeah, Fish, happy to be here. That's my last white gunk joke. Although technically, hanging, a mask, there's also a joke there about, eyes wide shut, hanging upside down. There's kind of a weird sex ring thing going on. There's a lot of jokes buried in there, subtext. Now I've just ruined them all. So thanks for being here, even though you didn't play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you made us 2 hours late, motherfucker. How dare you.
Glad to be here.
Oh, of course, from Japan, the one and only Professor Layton is joining us, and he's a man who's in the middle of a really serious copyright lawsuit right now, because he's actually been known in it's a copyright lawsuit with Marvel, okay? Because in various dating circles right now throughout the world, he is actually known as the Shocker. 2 in the stink, 1 in the blink. Isn't that right, Shay?
2 in the stink and 1 in the blink.
You got it! I didn't think you were going to get the blinking, but you got it. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Shot.
Yeah, I am in a copyright lawsuit. It's been rough. I currently had to fire my former lawyer for actually he was refusing to stop shooting me in the scrotum with his white gunk. So yeah, I had to let Fish go. I'm actually looking for a new lawyer. If anyone has any leads, please let me know. Need a lawyer. Stat.
Stat. Well, we are glad you're here. I know your head's going to be in other places because you're going through this lawsuit, and I just hope that maybe you can clear your mind for a couple hours and just, shoot the shit with us. So
I should be able to. I can't actually say the phrase that you said at the beginning of my introduction for I will be fined yet again. But
the shocker?
Yeah, I'm
you
excited.
Can't actually call yourself the shocker. Gotcha.
Well, not only that, but the catchphrase. So, but yeah, I'm glad I could clear 2 hours of my schedule from getting sued to be here with you guys.
If one of our chompers wants to maybe make that into a T-shirt, 2 in the stink, 1 in the blink, we're not going to shut that down. But yeah, we're glad you're here, Shay. As usual, the professor. That's what we call him. Lastly, and surely not least, Josh, now that you've pointed out that I'm reusing my gunk joke, this is actually a true story. Did you know that Josh, this is weird, I thought for the longest time that Josh was like a closet Spider-Man nerd because his screen name and everything was something Weber, right? Mm-hmm. I won't give it away for privacy's sake, but it's something Weber, okay? So I was like, Josh is just like this closet Spider-Man nerd. He just never talked about it. But that's not the case, though, right?
No, not the case. I'm actually involved in a legal battle with another company, the makers of the Weber grill, for other actions.
The Weber grill. Yeah. There's so many Webers.
I thought initially when you had that name, it was Weber, because you obsess over anime, and I thought you'd been well known to wear a cat tail and some dog ears to be a little subversive from time to time.
Yeah. No, that's actually part of the issue that the grill company took umbrage with.
Something happened with that grill.
I feel like you probably put a cattail on that grill. Someone accidentally lit that cattail on fire, burned a house down, became a big issue. I
can't comment on an ongoing case.
I understand. That's fair. We'll leave it at that.
There's a lot of legalities going on in this podcast today. There's a lot of legal bullshit, and we just don't want to get tangled up in it. It's a web of frustration.
Yeah. Once we get this figured out, though, we should definitely figure out how we can, combine the Weber and the Shocker for something glorious.
Well, I'm a lawyer, so I can help you guys out with that. I just got fired from my last job that I was on.
Well, so Shay knows a guy, Josh. It's weird. You might know him too. So
I know a guy. I'm not gonna say you want to know him, but I do know him.
There wasn't a lot of legalese going on. Let's just put it that way. You guys missed it. Fish casually flexed in the camera there for a second a few moments ago. Did
As
you see
all
that?
lawyers do. Just
well, you missed it. He's been showing that flex muscle.
The goddamn pen is blue.
I am excited to talk to you guys today about a lot of things, mostly Spider-Man, but it's a topic of the show where our listeners were oddly open with us. I, of course, am Morgan Barnes from Montana. I'm trying to keep this thing together or help it fall apart best that I can. I was going to tell you this. I realized it was fall this week in our gaming sphere because I was playing Spider-Man all last week, I had just finished the Mega Man 11 free demo when Shay was having me play No Man's Sky with him, which is kind of technically older. And then I went and picked up Tomb Raider from the store, and I'm playing Tomb Raider right now because I'm done with Spider-Man, and I just realized that like I'm actually starting to feel stressed about all the games that I have to play. And I'm like, yep, it's fall.
Yep.
So, but if I can get through Tomb Raider, Josh, and I can just coast with maybe like Destiny or something casual until Red Dead Redemption, I'm gonna feel good about that. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Weirdly enough, me and Fish are not completely enraptured with Destiny right now. It's strange. This is the first year that me and Fish are not balls deep in Destiny, and it's kind of sad. So
a lot of personal reasons on my part, but yeah.
speaking of sad gaming memories, I accidentally pulled that full circle. Hey, you didn't do any research for the show, Fish. I just gave you an answer. But He's like, that yes sounded oddly downtrodden. But no, we have a fun show today. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you're going to want to hear us because we have some strong, interesting opinions on that game. We have a topic of the show that's just super fascinating with our community chiming in, among other things. It's going to be a great show. So let's get right into it. The topic of the show basically was inspired loosely by this poll that I ran. Well, so Shay sent us the Streets of 4, yeah, that's the right name, Morgan. The Streets of Rage 4 trailer a little while back, and I was looking into it, and it got me thinking about... I wasn't, blowing it off. I was just, sometimes I'll get ideas and I scatter them for polls throughout the week. And so I was thinking about it, and I had this sort of like comedically traumatic story happen to me when I was younger. Now the poll, I can just interject it here, segue as naturally as I possibly can, was basically, holy shit, there's a Streets of Rage 4 trailer. Are you excited about it? Kind of like, yes. And it came back, yes. Almost 60% yes. People seem to be excited about it. Because there's a lot of games where you think about from your childhood, but you're like, do we really want to bring that back? Is that something we actually want? So, I guess I'll get you guys' thoughts on that in a second here, but my comedically tragic story is basically when I was younger, I went to a school dance, and I was dressed up as Jim Carrey from The Mask. Do you remember that movie? My parents weren't really... Go ahead, I see you guys want to say something here.
Oh, I was going to answer, but then you didn't give me... You asked, do you remember this movie? Yeah, so anyways. No, I do remember that one. It's a good movie. I like that movie.
Well, yeah, when we were kids, I haven't seen it in like 15 years. I couldn't tell you if it's good or bad, but it was fun. When I was a kid, I fucking loved it, right? Cameron Diaz, made me feel things I hadn't felt in my pants before. Jim Carrey, obviously fantastic as a kid. And so what my parents did was they made this fancy suit for me, just like in the movie, and they just painted my face green. They didn't actually get me because, obviously in the movie he has the wooden mask that he puts on and it like turns real, right? But there was really no way to do that at the time, and there wasn't one. So they just painted my face green. And I looked really ridiculous, right? But everyone thought I even had the hat too. From the ballroom scene or whatever, that crazy like yellow hat he has. And I worked on all my lines like smoking. I had it all had it all fucking down. I was a real fucking sad situation.
No part of this surprises me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you. Did you ask someone to the prom like this?
Well, let's put it this way, Shay. This will explain the next part of the story, probably. So it was at like a youth center on base, and I'm going to paraphrase this as much as I can, but basically it was like a youth center where kids go and play video games, and there was like a dance. It was a Friday night dance that everyone would go to, and I went dressed as the Mask, and actually everyone thought it was a really cool costume for the most part, but there was this girl that I liked, but I was really young, and I was too afraid to tell her I liked her back. She sent me one of those notes in class that was like, do you like me, yes or no? And I kept saying no, even though in my heart I was like, I wanted to say yes, but I was afraid because my parents would make fun of me, and I was like a kid, Were you guys ever like that? Were you kind of like afraid to admit to your parents that you like someone or something? You know what I'm talking about?
Hell no.
Well,
hell no.
Shay.
I was just never. Your dad was probably different. He was